God damn it. One day.
It's time for
I gotta get rid of that other button. Hey, welcome to 1, 2, 3 of Murder Moose Podcast. What's up, everybody? It's
How's
time.
it going?
You know what? Actually, I set up a button, didn't even do it. Murder Moose Podcast, part of the Slash and Cast podcast network.
It's in the game.
Hey, I stole it from you. No, I want you to say it.
It's in the game. So that just reminds me because I have memories of playing like NBA Jam in my buddy's room, like on Super
in the
Nintendo
game.
back in like 1995 or some shit. Like it was like NBA Live '96 back in the day, and it just
See,
I'm
I'm from Canada, so it was only ever NHL.
Yeah,
It's in the game.
it's in the game.
EA,
It's in the game.
NHL. And it was the exact same game every year. Still is.
Yep. I mean, it's way worse now. They don't improve anything because they're the only ones that have the license to NHL games. So, and it's the whole like competition. We don't have competition. Why the fuck do we care? Wee!
I love how colorful we all are today. Like we're all wearing not just black. It's like colors. Well, I guess
Yep.
you have a black shirt, but it's colorful print. And
Yeah.
you're very
Yeah.
colorful. I just
She got her-
hey, high five, everyone. It's like spring. We're very springy today.
Even though the groundhog saw a shadow and says,
Who
that
cares?
we're-
It's been like in the plus digits in Calgary. Everything's melting. I love it. Feels great.
So supposedly the hedgehog, the groundhog is only like 37% accurate anyway. So you kind of want him to be wrong. Like you want him to say there's 6 more weeks of winter because he's wrong 60% of the time.
So
63%.
only in like North America will we listen to a groundhog
A
and not
groundhog?
to scientists, you know? Like,
Yeah.
what's global warming? Pfft. Hey, what's the groundhog got to say?
Yeah, right? Groundhog has important things to say.
You motherfuckers. How the fuck are you guys doing though? Is everyone doing good?
Doing great. How are you?
I'm lovely. I am just fucking spectacular.
You know, everything is still shit, but it doesn't matter because I'm not.
Because you're in the game.
You are awesome.
It's in the game.
I'm
It's in the
keeping
game.
so fucking busy and accomplishing so many things that I didn't even know I had the ability to accomplish. So that's always
Hell yeah, you are. Come
I-
just work on my house.
And then
I-
mine. I need
well,
it.
because like as soon as that ball gets rolling for me, because I hyper focus on stuff, and my girlfriend is away for 2 weeks, so I'm like, I'm bored. I'm gonna build
Masturbate
this or
and-
well that and build stuff, and then come on,
I mean, it's masturbating only takes a couple minutes, right? So like you're not.
yeah,
like,
and
you
then
got
you're back
lots of-
to building again.
Yeah. Then you're like mopping up, and then
Then
You're
I'm
making
sewing.
stuff after making stuff.
And of course,
Yeah.
that's the only time I bleed. Well, no, I can't say that because every time I do a project, somehow I bust my shin completely wide open, like just because there's shit everywhere. And I busted my right shin open 4 different times in the last month.
Yeah,
You
Josh.
know.
Josh sent us in our group chat a picture of his headboard that he was making with blood all over it because he hurt his hand too.
Well-
and I'm like,
No, that was literally just my finger with the needle. And I was like, oh, yeah,
Oh.
that's fine. And then I was doing it more. And all of a sudden I go to like bring it back through and just like a huge line of blood. I was like, oh, what the hell? This is the like finishing part. Band-Aid? I got the blood off.
Band-Aid?
you're supposed to not. You're not Leatherface, Josh. You're not supposed to be sawing your face off.
I don't
and-
have a
or even-
thimble.
I mean, whose fault is that, Josh?
The
Whose
the little
fault?
dollar store like sewing kit
Is
didn't
that-
come with one. So
Well, that's a ripoff.
Yep. Well,
it was a pretty good kit, to be honest. So still not complaining.
So I have to say, this weekend I watched In Search of Darkness Part 3, which was 5 hours of 80s horror review stuff, which is the third one of it, obviously. And
You also watched another movie that I honestly, okay, it sucks because coming up I was obsessed with M Night, and
Shamalama Ding Dong.
but now he's in the hack category. Like he's downgraded himself to hack, and he has to earn it back for me. Like even old, I didn't hate it, but he did the stupid thing at the end of a movie and made it dumb again. And I'm like, you gotta stop fucking up the ends of your movies because you do so good for 3/4 of so many of your movies, and then you shit so hard on your own movie that no one can like it. And I don't know if he did it
So-
again, but
He did
I
not.
don't know.
So what I hear though, we talk about Knock at the Cabin. I liked it a lot, but the thing with it, and I was talking to Jerry about it yesterday. The thing with it is supposedly it's based off of the book at like the cabin at the end of the world or something like that. I think is the title of the book. I guess he made the movie less grim than the book. Like he degrimmed it a little bit, which makes sense, even though it's still pretty fucking dark for most of that movie. But I liked
isn't
it a lot
PG-13?
because no, it's R.
Okay.
Mostly for language though. It's and like they just didn't want everyone to see Ron from Harry Potter like being hardcore at PG-13 because he's in there. He's hanging out with Batista and everyone. So
I didn't know he was in there.
yeah, Rupert, whatever his name
Yeah.
is.
I think we're going to see it this weekend.
It's good. I liked it a lot. It was my wife said it was predictable, but but like it's
You
what
know what
happens when
movie isn't predictable? Infinity Pool.
That's true. I still don't think I understand everything that happened in that wacko movie, but
We'll get to that.
but yeah, it was worth watching for sure. And because I think he wrote it, but he didn't he's not like writing an original screenplay. He's doing something based off of something that the book, right? So like it kind of cuts his bullshit of like, I gotta surprise everyone with a twist ending, which is why I fucking hate most of his movies, right? Like after Sixth Sense, I complain about it all the time in here. I fucking hate the end of Signs. I fucking hate the end of the
Same.
Village.
And I love
It's like-
Signs. Like,
yeah.
Signs is,
But it's
really good up until he jumps
took-
the shark.
He took the ending of War of the Worlds and was
Yes.
like, how can I make this worse? Because it's if you think about it logically, is one of the worst endings of a movie all time because you go, like, oh yeah, these aliens, they can travel around the
They
universe.
make
are
the
going
whole movie
yeah.
not worth a thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
There is, and it was all by accident. And
Yep.
the same, yeah. Like anytime
It's
a movie happens by accident, the movie didn't need to exist.
Exactly. So like when you do that and you do that's why Split was way better than most of his movies because Split doesn't have that really. Like his twist ending is that Bruce Willis is it's a shared
It's a-
universe thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
but it's not
trilogy.
like it's not like it doesn't fuck with the entire rest of the movie. Like that's his like surprise. So like this movie doesn't have any of this. It's self-contained. I mean, it basically takes the plot of the end of Cabin in the Woods and just kind of goes with it. But yeah, it's fucking, I liked it a lot, and the acting's really good in it, and most of the hate I was seeing from it was gay guys. I saw gay guys shitting all over the movie, and I don't quite understand why. And I think it might be because it's like because the main characters, there's a gay couple and their adopted daughter. But like, I don't know, man. I liked it a lot. I don't think it was like it wouldn't have made like my top 5 of like movies last year or anything like that, but I liked it and I had a good time with it. And it's good to see because it's shot beautifully. You know how he Shyamalan Ding Dong knows how to shoot a movie.
Yeah,
But, like-
I always like his attention to detail and colors and color theory in movies and stuff. And a lot of filmmakers don't pay attention to that as much. Like you really saw it in Sixth Sense with the red having meaning and it
Yeah.
being placed in different spots in the movie to like emphasize the secret and stuff like that. But I've always loved that part of it.
He's very much like like Rob Zombie, where his own writing is where it gets him into trouble. Like that's what Zombie's problem is. Like, right, he can't write characters worth of shit. So it's like if you ever put Zombie and you go, "Hey, you're really good at imagery. We're gonna give you this script right here." And it's the same thing with Shyamalan Ding Dong. It's like we're gonna give you this book here. You can write the screenplay, but just stick to this. And it like stops him from.
All
like,
you got to say is Shyamalan,
It's in the game.
and then he'll get it. He'll get it.
Exactly. So yeah, so I enjoyed it, and I thought it was worth it's definitely worth a watch. And then like it dethroned Avatar, which for like the first time
No
in like
way.
7 weeks. Yeah, it had which is funny because like we were gonna go Saturday, and then my wife didn't really want to go, so we returned the tickets and went or Sunday morning, and it was half full, but like it was still a lot of people for like an 11:40 on a Sunday, you know, like seeing an R-rated horror movie. So
I don't know.
That's
It just-
wild.
I'm happy to hear that. I might go see it, but I don't think it's going to be show worthy because we
Oh, no.
already talked about it.
yeah, it's again, that's why I tweeted from our account that like I enjoyed it. I don't it's not it's just starting February off and with like a new movie that like I enjoyed the shit out of, like instead of just like
It's because
A ba-
Skinamarink has been on our list for a long time. It's finally available, and we really want to check. Well, I am just like, I love the indie movies with stories like that close to home. I feel like I can high five him on the way by, and
I'm-
hopefully, like, wee.
I'm just afraid it's gonna do what Mad God did to me, which is it's going to destroy my ADHD. But like
I started watching
Who
the
knows?
trailer, and the start of the trailer was fucking creepy as hell. And I was watching it with my nibbling, and they told me to turn it off because it was too much. And I was like, "That's awesome! I'm so excited to see this now."
yeah, I hope I enjoy it. I'll watch it next week. But yeah. So yeah, so I watched that. I watched in Search of Darkness, which was I love those docs. If you guys haven't watched either or like any of them now, it's just really like all three of them. They just go through like every year of the 80s and feature a bunch of horror movies, and then like all the people in them and like talk about them. And it's the third one was like obviously the first one was the biggest ones, but this is like you're doing a lot more random shit in this one, but I really enjoyed it. It's just like it's fun watching people talk about horror for like 5 hours, you know. I don't like documentaries most of the time, or I don't sit down and watch them, but you do good ones about horror. Like I love the Camp Crystal Lake one. That
Oh
is,
yeah,
like,
that was good. I had
I
that on
haven't
one
seen
morning.
any of those.
it's like 6 hours long because it's like they talk about each one of the movies for like
No, it's
45
only like
minutes.
4 hours, I think, actually. But
Wait, what are they
Oh.
called?
Camp
The
Crystal.
Camp Crystal Lake one, I think is what it's called. Camp Crystal Lake something. But the other ones are in
It's on.
Search of
They're on
Darkness.
Plex, but I had it on one morning. I couldn't sleep, so I got up early, and I was just on like City Skylines on my laptop, and I had that
Yeah.
on kind of as background noise, but it
Yeah.
filled the time so well because I was like, oh fuck, I didn't know that, and that's really
Yeah.
interesting, and like just to hear how like, because we all know that Friday the 13th was like a reaction to how well Halloween was doing,
Halloween
and they're like,
did, yeah.
there's something here, and I own essentially FridayThe13th.com, so we have to make a movie called Friday the 13th,
Yeah.
and that was the only fucking reason the Friday the 13th got made.
It
which
gives
is
you
funny.
a lot of context into what the legal battles that were just like wrapping up and whatnot, and it gives it does a lot of cool things about like just all those movies. It's just like
We're
it's a
getting
cool,
so much now. We waited. Now we're gonna get a fucking series and a new movie is in the works too. I'm like,
That's which we still don't know anything about.
I'm
Are
excited.
you high fiving? High five.
I have a question.
What's that?
What's it called?
Nobody knows because
No, what's the thing we're talking about? The
Oh,
documentary
it's
called?
called like Camp Crystal Lake, I think is what it's called.
Okay. 'Cause I thought
Crystal
you guys
Lake
called
Memories.
it something earlier. Okay.
Oh,
Cool.
Crystal
Thank
Lake Memories,
you.
Yeah.
Da da da
Yeah.
da.
Yay.
They're all worth watching though. That's
Yeah,
like
just search for documentaries on Plex and you'll find it.
or
there's not
even
too
on
many.
a lot of them are Shutter too. That's like the one about Scream Queen was one of my favorites. The one about the guy who was in Nightmare on Elm Street 2, and like how that movie came out right during the AIDS panic, and how like no one was allowed to be openly gay in Hollywood at that time, and that's another really good one. All those, man.
Crystal
cool.
Lake memories.
Uh-oh, Josh had a seizure. I don't know what's happening. Okay, Justin Bieber. Okay, Justin Bieber.
It's in the game.
Jesus.
Okay, Josh, are you ready? Ken, are you ready to talk about
I'm
Infinity
so
Pool?
ready.
I don't
Yeah,
think
yeah.
I'll ever be ready, but I'm getting in.
Yeah, I mean it's a ride, that's for sure. Okay,
Are
I'm gonna
you
read
diving in head first?
But
something like
oh
that.
right, yeah, do it.
I'm gonna read the synopsis.
Synopsisize.
It reads: James and M. Foster are enjoying an all-inclusive beach vacation in the fictional island of La Tolca when a fatal accident exposes the resort's perverse subculture of hedonistic tourism, reckless violence, and surreal horrors. I think I was seeing something, or it seemed like from the credits, this movie was mostly shot in like the Chechnya, or like one of those European countries, but then it was also shot in Canada. Dude, this movie had like 18 fucking production companies. Like there were so many production companies because it seemed like it was shot in Canada and the
Well, 'cause
U.S. and then
The Canadian thing is the actress that played Jennifer. I know her from my buddy's show Kim's Convenience. She played a Pastor Nina on Kim's Convenience, and that's like my friend was in the show, so and it was really funny actually. So I watched her as this pastor, and as soon as she came on screen, I was like, "Oh, it's Pastor Nina." I was like, "Oh, cute." And then she was like the worst person ever. I was like, "This is fucked."
everyone in that movie is the worst person ever. It is
Yes.
like, it's a good combination after coming off of Midsommar, or it's like everyone in this movie is a fucking like just like not likable, and then you go, oh, this is like everyone in this movie is also fucking like, this is such a saying. It's like such an like analyzation of like country and the first world countries and how we treat like the third
It's like
world countries.
Weekend at Bernie's meets Groundhog Day meets Moon meets.
Yeah, look, so I have to. Okay, I want to talk about something because there's gonna be spoilers everywhere, and this movie's batshit crazy. But if you like crazy shit and you don't have seizures, go see it. I would say. I think you. I would. I don't know if you
Except
agree.
for the first, it only does it once, and you were talking about it last week. The whole like off
Oh my
kilter,
god!
and it lasts too long, and it's
It
super
extended its welcome.
Yeah, it's too extended, and it's too much, and it actually made me feel sick,
Yeah.
and I looked away, and it was on for like 5 minutes or something. I was like, that is too long.
So what I really want to talk about, and one of the things that I assumed was happening, the version of what's his name, James Foster, Alexander Skarsgård, that went home at the very end of the movie was the one that he was beating the shit out of, like that was dressed up like the guard, like 2/3 of the way through, or like whenever it was, because they were focusing on him beating the shit out of that dude, like himself, like punching himself in the face.
Yes.
And then at the very end, he's got those fucking face scars, like the wounds healing. And I'm like, I don't remember. And I'm like, oh, that's why they're showing you as this guy that was like not the original one. And it's the one
Are
from
you
like,
sure it's not though the one that was fighting the dog? Because when the dog and him were fighting, they had.
I think that
face
there's 3
damage.
different ones, because I thought at one point that the dog was the guy he beat up, but I think Rod's right, and it might have been
Really?
like a
Okay.
third, because like I even
he had
looked over
3.
at,
He had
because
3.
I looked over at Ben
urns,
at one
too.
point, and I was like, geez, how many are there? And he's like, infinite. And I was like, yeah, you're right.
Well, I mean, he had 3 urns at the end too, right? He put
Yeah.
3 urns in his casket, and so it was the original one from the
But
like.
I don't think that the dog would have granted an urn because it wasn't killed at the place that would make an urn.
That's true.
Yeah.
But even then, you had the original one.
I love how we just go straight
had-
into like, because we're trying to figure it out, and we're skipping past all the actual review to like, what the fuck? What do you think?
Yeah,
They,
well, that's
have, they
because
have the original one. They have the guy when they're like all in the group. And then after that, you've got the guy that he beats the hell out of, and you've got the dog. And then there's one more, right?
So I just want to
I
say,
don't remember.
this movie is coming off the like we adored Possessor, and coming off of that movie, which I hold in really high regard for being like indie and just like killed that subgenre so well in all its aesthetics. This felt like it had more of a budget, and it's like too like a step away from being not
feels-
indie at all. And
it feels more like
it's-
his dad's movies.
Yes,
it really does.
He's like right on his dad's heels now for it being very reminiscent. It's a fucking Cronenberg. It's a Cronenberg film. It's
So-
full on, but this is he did a lot of this like glitchy, weird, like psychedelic, fucked up shit in this movie really, really well. He did a lot of I don't know, like you're on a roller coaster ride with this movie. You don't know what to
Yeah.
expect, and it is visceral and ridiculous and really fucked. And the amount of
Yeah.
like weird sexual stuff that happens really it it crosses so many lines that I haven't seen in a movie in a long time, which honestly I'm totally okay with. I don't see, you don't see nudity and like sex in movies ever anymore. So it was all really fucked up stuff, but it was like, okay, whatever. It was
Mia Goth
it was
having her
trying to
nipples
be
sucked
bigger.
on.
I know.
Mia-
Like,
it's just
we'll
like-
get to that part. Like that's like a whole like conversation in itself, I think. But this movie is trying to be a lot better than it turns out. It's not great, but it's definitely a really good movie.
I also think this is not a movie that you intake in one watching. Like either.
No.
That's like I think that's part of the issue is that like this is not a movie you go sit down and go, okay, I understand everything the first time because the fucking movie's wacko. Which is why like I'm sitting there going, I don't think this is a movie you can sit there and go, yeah, I understand everything like that.
I
Like
loved the Mr. Robot framing of it too. Like the
dude,
super lower thirds off to the right, making a like 3/4 of the shot like a wall
yeah,
out of focus
the
and stuff. I
the
fucking
cinema-
adore that.
the cinematography in this movie is that's what I think I said that to you last week. The cinematography in this movie is fucking batshit crazy. Like
I loved
like,
it.
when he's like just zooming in on their mouths while they're talking back and forth, and it's like it breaks the rules of like the 1/3 rule like constantly. Like it never follows that rule. It's like you're like, oh, your character who should be on the center of the screen
I
is just
would
like on the
love
side
to-
of the screen.
I would love to, because there's definitely rules that
Yeah.
he is following for this. Like these are all intentional decisions that are making you feel a lot more claustrophobic when you're supposed to. And I don't know, like because Mr. Robot leaned into that hard. They made this as like a decision like before they started like filming the first episode, and they had to go with it the entire series. And this movie
Yeah. I've never
made
watched
those
Mr.
same
Robot,
decisions.
so I've like
Mr. Robot's awesome. But yeah, they
I got
do.
pretty far in Mr. Robot. It was really good.
I didn't finish it either. It really fell
didn't
off.
finish it.
Like the first season was phenomenal, and then it just
Yeah.
like it jumped off a cliff.
Oh, I want to take a quick sidetrack because Josh, I want to comment on something real quick. Episode 3, I am caught up now, but episode 3 of The Last of Us was like the most heartbreaking hour of TV of all time,
It was
and
beautiful.
I want to like hug Nick Offerman and love him
Dude,
in 11.
so you've seen episode 4?
Yeah, the one from last night. Yeah.
So you've
yeah.
seen my theater. That's the Globe. That's my theater downtown Calgary that all of my like short films have played at, and it's in episode 4 of The Last of Us. That's
What part? What part of the episode?
right before they get ambushed, they drive
Yeah.
past the Globe Theater,
Oh,
and it
okay.
still says Globe Theater on it. I'm like, hey, there's my fucking theater.
Nice.
Because it's like
I just,
it's one of the only like indie movie theaters in Calgary. There's like 2, and the rest are like the big chains. So the Globe is run by my buddy Cody, who's like totally punked out, tattoos, and always wearing like patched up like punk shit all the time. Cody's the best.
yeah. I just had to say that because I know it was such a thing, but like, Ken, you need to watch this at some point. But
I'm
Dude.
waiting until they're all out so that I can binge watch them. But I will say, I was talking to, we were at Whole Foods the other day. Weird words. And
Did you eat
I
a
was looking
whole
for-
lot of food?
I was looking for aloe vera juice. All right. I'm on this weird track in my life. I'm getting old and I'm trying to fight it. Anyway, so we were at Whole Foods. It's in the game. And this guy was talking about it with another coworker. And he turned around. He's like, have you guys watched The Last of Us? And he called it something else. And I was like, The Last of Us? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, no, not yet. And he was like, well, they totally ruined it because they pulled out everything that had to do with the game, so there's no spores and there's no fungus and there's no conversation of that and blah blah blah.
What
And
the
so I was
fuck is
talking
he
about it on
about?
stream today, and everybody's like, it's literally in the first 3
Yeah,
minutes. And
it's
I
like
was like, okay, that's what I thought, but like
Yeah.
I haven't watched it yet. I'm waiting to watch it till they're all out. And they were like, I don't know what he's watching.
I will tell you
But-
this.
He's probably
I will
watching
tell you-
Walking Dead or something.
Yeah, I will tell you this. It's not a show that I think you could like. It's not a show that I would suggest sitting there and trying to watch 8 or 10 episodes in a row because every episode kind of kicks you in the dick a little bit. It's like
It's
like
it's a slow burn, which I honestly I usually don't appreciate. But I think
Yeah.
because I just have my love for my city, and it's literally close to home because it's filmed up the street and at my theater, and to see all these places, like I just drove my parents to the airport on Sunday, the day it comes out, and I took a weird way because there was like a shit ton of like traffic and stuff, and I went under this like crazy tunnel, and I was like, whoa, cool. And then at night, I was watching The Last of Us. I was like, oh shit, that's that crazy tunnel I just went through. What the hell?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
it's heavy, man. It's real heavy, but like the third episode is one of the best hours of TV like I've ever seen in my like the best hours of just like pure entertainment. It's like I was
the
telling
storytelling is better than, and it's the same length as movies, and it's so much better. It was
they're just
Ugh.
what they're doing it when I really fucking love is they're taking all these iconic moments from the game, which like if you take all the fucking stuff out of fucking Last of Us, it's not like more than like 4 or 5 hours long, right? Like the story and shit, like a lot of it's gameplay, but like maybe 6 hours because like the whole game's like 15 hours long, but they're just fucking giving background. Like that episode 3 with the whole like Nick Offerman thing was like something that, a
Ugh.
little part of the game that they just fucking they given a whole episode to and let it breathe and just fucking break your heart and like
I can't believe, like, because you get introduced to this character in the show, and it's Nick Offerman too, and he fucking kills it. He just brings it on such, like, both of them are just
Yeah.
like, I haven't seen acting that good in such a long time on
yeah
a TV show or just in general. Like, I feel like the last time I watched someone and was just like, wow, was like Breaking Bad stuff. I remember
Yeah.
just seeing like, but they're all winning. Like, I hope there's like Emmy for like, a stand-in or the one-off guy.
Yeah, dude, that show needs all the fucking. Nick Offerman is the fucking best, and I just love him to death. Okay, we can go back to it, but I forgot, and I saw Last of Us on the screen.
Well, we talk about, honestly, we're in an era now that
Yeah.
horror is in abundance, and we have like one of the best shows that has ever been produced in our genre. So
Yeah.
we're going to be talking about it every week.
Yeah.
Continue. You should get in on this.
Yeah.
And Psycho Gorman.
Also,
We should
the new
talk about
episode-
Psycho Gorman every week again.
Yes, Psycho Gorman. Remember, he's got a moose. We added that. We added that to the Psycho Gorman lore. But there's a moose now, and he rides. Yeah, it's Ken. You will love it.
The more,
The more
you know.
Okay. Also, the let's jump back in. Josh, I have to say,
What's up?
What was your view on the cinematography on this movie as a whole? Like, what did it do to you as someone like who makes films and everything like that?
It made me think like this.
Yeah.
I loved it. That was my favorite. Well, it's hard to even say because Mia Goth is so good in
Unhinged.
everything, and her mouth is so creepy. And
Yeah.
I think that's why they like emphasize on mouths and stuff, because that one scene where she's outside of the bus and she's just like, ah! I'm like,
Yeah.
oh fuck! Like she's playing into her assets to make it scarier, and it is
Yeah.
genuinely scary. And like that
Okay.
whole scene where she's like on the hood and they're just terrorizing him, I was like, this is fucked. Like this is
Yeah.
so fucked.
Ken, I have to ask you, your scene. There is a scene in this movie that was made for you 100%, and that is Skarsgård tries to put a mouth stretcher in his mouth and is just not able to do it. As someone who puts a mouth stretcher in on like a weekly basis,
She's
ha-
she's got it right there. She's got it right there.
she did it like 8 times faster than Alex Skarsgård because
He took so goddamn long. Now, granted, I know that somebody was helping them do it, and I know that the whole premise was like, oh, these things are so difficult and challenging.
yeah.
I have like bags and bags of these. And yeah, over time, the plastic does get a little bit easier to bend, but like, and they're sitting there with him, and he's like,
Well, they wanted to make it seem like it was more horrific of a thing.
Yeah.
You know?
but I
like,
mean, damn.
because it's
to be
body
fair,
horror.
I guess your average person is not going to be like, oh, I have one of those. Look at how easy it is putting it out. Like,
yeah. I just
That's what she said?
yes.
In and out and in and out and in and out and in and out. I would really like to know like what kind of things that like Cronenberg was trying, because it really feels like like
Cronenberg.
the Cronenberg, which was like, I mean, his dad's such a notorious thing that like even Rick and Morty made Cronenberg World, where everyone was all fucked up looking because of like Rick fucking everyone up with like his weird genetic shit. But like, it's sitting there going, this movie feels way more like he's trying. It all, you know what else it reminds me of? It reminds me of fucking what's his name? From like Twin Peaks. What's his name? The director of shit at Twin Peaks.
Huh?
The director of Twin Peaks and everything. The crazy guy.
I don't know
The
what
fuck is-
Twin Peaks is.
You don't know what Twin Peaks is?
Never seen it.
Oh my god. How have you never? I mean, but it's the director and how it's how notorious he is.
David Lynch?
Lynch. Yeah, David Lynch. It also reminds me of David Lynch a little bit in the
Yep.
weird oddities of like how he tells a story and how like this Infinity Pool feels like there's like it's more about the experience than it is about the ending. Like it's more about like what you feel.
I
while-
loved the ending, by the way, because then it plays it off like, hey, you know, that's just going on vacation. It's like you
Oh,
do a whole
I
bunch of
loved the
fucked up
ending.
shit and
Yeah.
I feel
back
like
to
this
normal
was
life.
like definitely almost in the same vein of Eat the Rich that we're seeing a lot more in Hollywood and in these film companies and whatever. Like there's this huge Eat the Rich movement. And I feel
Yeah.
like it's kind of in the same vein, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's yeah.
Like this James Foster in this movie is so terrible, and like I understand like his whole world was crumbling and everything, but like
It
He
wasn't
didn't even
though.
stop to think about the fact that, like, oh my God, I'm going to commit. Like, all I could think was this dude's going to commit a crime and he's been cut off from his girlfriend. Like, he doesn't have money anymore, his wife or whatever. He doesn't have money anymore. So he's going to commit a crime and not be able to pay himself out and he's going to
Yeah.
die. Like,
That's
that's
what-
all I kept thinking
Yeah.
the whole time.
Oh.
So you know what though? The thing where you really hate him is where he goes and pulls his goddamn passport out from under the
Yes.
fucking sink. You're like,
Yes.
this fucking piece of shit did this on purpose to like be able to just be like, because it plays it as such
But
like a like
they're
the
all,
consulate
like-
took it or the hotel took it or whatever they're trying to like.
Yeah, but it's because like after the first time he gets rebooted, he's
Yeah.
not the original. Like this is my take on it. He's not the original person. Like the question that gets brought up is, do you think they just
swapped
doubled
them.
you and swapped it, and you are now the double? And all of those people, because they're all so fucked up and they're all like, there's something missing. They wanted one of us, because they're
Yeah.
all a double and they're all fucked up now, and they all have something built into them to want more of it. And
Yeah.
as soon as he came back, his wife was even like, "You've lost something in your eyes," and I feel like it's because he was the double, and they're all doubles, or 12
It-
down
that-
the line now.
Well,
That's-
but here's what I think about that. So I think that, like, yeah, that's definitely a theory. But at the same time, if you went through something like that and you had to watch yourself die, I think something in you would break. I don't think you're
Yeah.
going to come out of that, like, totally fine.
Yeah.
And once you've experienced that, you're going to probably be drawn to other people that have had that same trauma that have then in turn found a way to cope with it by just reliving it, but also shitting on everybody in their existence.
Yeah. Well, that
But I mean,
fucking,
yeah, it's definitely
They're
a possibility.
robots now.
But also, with that being said, how would they know if they're the clone? Like,
they wouldn't.
because they
That's
discussed
yeah.
that at the gathering. Like, how do you know? You don't know, and like,
Yeah.
I feel
You don't
That-
know.
it does a really good job of that. But at the same time, it kind of gets to a point where you're like, all right, I get it. But like, I thought it was a really cool way of doing it. It was really interesting too, because when I read the synopsis before we went in, I couldn't figure out how we were going to watch ourselves die as like the characters. And so I kept
Yeah.
trying to like come up. It never once hit me cloning. Never once. Like the whole
Yeah.
time I was sitting there and I was like, oh, I'm a dumbass. Cloning
Well-
it is.
It's funny because you have this third world country. It reminds you go to like the Caribbean or something like that. You go to these countries like that have like no money, but they're beautiful. And so they build these fucking compounds where like the rich people can sit there and just be like live in this life of luxury while everyone else on the island is fucking poor, right? And so they're like talking about that, and then but this country has this technology, and what they're doing with it is completely fucked up because they're not like using it to like make people's
It's such
lives
a
better.
movie, and that's what I
It's-
loved
yeah.
about it. It's
Yeah.
so like this is only would ever be in a movie, and I love it because
Are
it
you-
leans so hard into it. It's like, this is fucked. Let's make it ultra fucked.
What it reminds me of is I could see a fucking little third world country like this doing this. Like if there's some piece of shit ran the country, and somehow some scientist there stumbled upon this like the way to do this, and a guy would totally do this. It's not using it to help people, is using it to raise fucking money for himself. That's all it is. It's like a fucking like, let's line our pockets and just being the most just enablers. And it's that that's what I said. It's
When
it's
they
that
all
thing
come
where
in
it's-
completely drunk and they're like, "Hey, let's do this," but you get swapped over to the other side and you get like tricked. That was
Yeah.
fucking perfection. But then it also makes you question that question that I just said: Are they the doubles? Were they being fucked with? And when it like zooms out to them like cheersing and like just being like, "This is hilarious!" Like, look at the guts. Like, oh
Yeah.
my god. Like,
it's that thing where it's like it takes something that like is completely believable. Like we live in a world where like rich people can do whatever the fuck they want very often, right? Like they get away with shit. They get away and they take that up and they turn it from like a 10 to 11. They're just like amplifying the fact that money lets you do whatever the fuck you want in this world. And the how we take advantage, like it's like it feels like it talks in like colonialism and like imperialism, really like imperialism, really, like where you spread your fucking tendrils all over the world so you can basically do whatever you want wherever the fuck you are, right? Like, and I think the country they shot most of this in was Croatia, really, because I one of my roommates in college was like Croatian, and they are all like the fucking proudest motherfuckers, like Croatia, but they're all every single one of them that I met, because I met more than one of him, like him and his like relatives, all the biggest scammers you will ever meet, which made me think of this movie also. And I'm like, oh, okay, it's the Croatian scammers going. And I'm not saying all Croatians are like that. I'm just saying the ones I met were like that.
He's saying the other thing.
No, I'm not. Shut up, Josh. But it's just like,
It's in the game.
there's so much. Yeah, it's in the game. It just feels like there's a lot being said here, but it's like also being like Cronenberg is like his dad is often just Ken's like, God damn it, Josh. His dad was always like telling like felt like he was like trying to tell like social commentary, and it's like you and I mean we did Possessor, Josh, and you're sitting there going, Possessor's a movie about like
Unreal.
About people, like how doing things makes you lose your humanity, right? And like this
That
actions
scene
of,
where
like,
it was just like
Yeah.
it kind of reminded me of like the stuff that Mandy did with the like meshing of spaces and scenes together as one.
Yeah.
Like, love that.
it's I still we got to do antiviral at some point on here, but like
Yes.
because
I would love to.
Yes,
I have
please.
yeah, but like it just it feels like he was like trying to embrace his father's way of like just kind of going
Father?
Father Cronenberg, we are here to make a Cronenberg film.
Can you
So
teach me the ways of the body horror? Father?
Also, I want one of those fucking masks, because those masks are
Yes.
Oh my
fucking
god.
groovy.
I have tryphobia, so that one with the holes.
That with
I
the
was-
holes.
I couldn't handle it. It was like
Yeah.
making my tryphobia go fucking nuts. I was like,
So- Oh God! So you wouldn't like? You didn't do that one horror movie with me. I don't think you weren't here, Josh. With the Australian one with the slashers, where it was like what the fuck is that movie called? I can't even think of it. It's on Shudder and stuff, but it was basically they kidnapped a bunch of people, and then they like would make one guy a killer, and he would be assigned to a final girl, and like if your final girl got killed as like the killer, your head would explode. Like they had things in them, like it, but it was like all like like millionaires, like billionaires, like betting on it and like doing all that stuff. One of the masks is like that. It has like holes all over it, and it's all I'm thinking like, yeah, it's
There was a season of American Horror Story that they had that be a returning thing because one of the main characters had tryphobia, so they kept just being ridiculous with it. And I was like, I'm never watching this show again, and I didn't.
Yep. I get that like usually when I get bad, like I don't have that, but like I hate heights. So when you get like they're like I was on Instagram the other day scrolling, and it was like some motherfucker was dirt biking and like on this really like it looked like he was dirt biking on the top of a mountain basically, but like going down these weird. But he had a GoPro on his camera, and I'm sitting there going, nope. That's why I'll never watch that fucking movie about someone being stuck on the top of a tower like that came out
it was
last year.
good. It was really good.
Nope.
I really liked it.
Nope.
What they ended up being able to do with that movie, because it was like a compressed timeline.
Yeah.
There's like not much to it, but the realizations that the characters have and the like reveals that movie ends up having were like awesome, super well done. And yeah, if you have those like height things, like you're gonna really hate that movie. But
yeah, fuck that movie.
Or that like that Joseph Gordon-Levitt movie where he does the like tightrope walk across the two towers.
Oh yeah.
People were like passing out in the theaters and stuff.
Nope. Ken, do you have anything that would
That
like,
was a
in horror-
Zemeckis film.
Yeah. Do you have something in a fear that like in a movie that like made you go,
Irrational.
nope.
I don't like watching things fall from heights. I don't mind heights. I have nothing against heights, but I don't like watching things fall from heights, and I don't like home invasion. But home invasion movies don't bother me as much as they used to.
Yeah.
But watching things fall from heights, can't.
Do you hate like The Strangers then? Did The Strangers fucking horrify you? That
Oh.
movie
It
is
was terrible.
So
like
weird.
it was a great movie. Don't get me wrong, but when it came out, God, what year did that come out?
2006, I'm guessing, but like
There was
something
like a
that.
bunch of home invasion movies that came out in that same time. Like the one
was-
with the masks too. Like that one was fucked too. The Stranger.
It
Them?
was,
Or no, not the Stranger.
yeah, it was 2008, and I remember because I was sitting at my parents' house and I was in the basement, and their basement is finished, and it's like where my apartment was whatever. And I'm terrified of windows. We all know this, whatever. Well, if you don't know this, you know that now. But they have like this door in the back that has like, one of the glass windows that has like all the stuff on it. But right when the like second session of knocking happens in The Strangers, one of the cats from outside hit that door so damn hard, scared the fuck out of me. That movie really fucked me up. But I like it now. But yeah, so
Yeah.
when they did the home invasion, I was kind of like, but it doesn't bother me as
That-
much as it used to. But watching things fall, even in video games, if I'm playing a game and something falls, I'll just turn because I can't do it.
Do you know where that came from? Do you have any like, or has it just always been like that?
I know where my window one came from. That was like super repressed, and we found it like a few years ago. But as far as falling and stuff, I don't know. But like even watching like, when you're like a kid, you're standing at the top of the stairs and you've got like a ball or like a basket
Yeah.
of laundry and it like falls down the steps. That makes my entire body like shiver up. I don't know why.
I bet
I have no idea.
I bet you it's a self-preservation thing. Just like the reason why I like kind of like why I hate heights, because you're like, oh, okay, if I fall, I'm just dead. It's like your brain going somewhere in your brain going, yeah, that was me. I'd be dead. And it's just like, no, that's why like I fucking hate like the scene in Midsummer where the old dude falls, because it's just
Yeah.
like it's just like
But he's
how they
like,
shoot it.
hey, I'm jumping in the fucking shallow end. Wee.
Yeah.
Shinny.
I-
No, he just
how
wanted to
that's-
play some shinny. And if you don't know what shinny is, it's just pick up hockey at an ice rink.
I don't know
It's
what
called
it is,
shinny.
but like, yeah.
I've had
I-
I actually was playing shinny and took a puck to the shin, and it sounded like someone knocked on a piece of wood. I had a goose egg and a huge like just pocket of blood in my leg. I was like, oh, what the fuck? It just like huge. Yeah, it sucked.
Yeah.
I still have a dent in my fucking shin from that.
My shins are always fucking like bruised up from like, running into something.
Why I
because
keep talking
am-
about shin trauma today? Like what?
I
the
don't know, man. I don't know. I think that the parts of this movie though where it goes off the rails crazy, like with Mia Goth. I mean, Mia kills it once again because she's really like the like
She's typecast herself into just
psychopath.
top, but she
Yeah.
goes there though, and she has
Yeah.
the ability. We all know it, so she is typecasting herself as the one that has that range to go there.
Yeah.
So
Well, so it was brought up to me by someone, and I won't say who or anything, but they were talking about the comparison between her and this comparison killed me. Between her and Sherry Moon Zombie, and I was like, I think
Why?
she's exponentially
I was gonna
better than Sherry Moon Zombie
Yeah.
could even potentially imagine to be.
Sherry Moon could have done that fucking monologue and
Monologue,
the
yeah,
Pearl
no.
if you gave her
No,
if you
not
gave
at
her a
all.
million tries to do it. Like I like Sherry Moon. Don't get me wrong, but like she can't act.
No, she can't.
I
And she's
enjoy
getting
her.
worse as she gets older.
Yeah, like
But
Yeah.
I
She
mean, like,
doesn't
she was
have-
great.
she's not like
And, like-
super crazy good looking like she was to like
Well,
say
I mean,
she's still good
not
looking.
only- She's great looking, and like Lords of Salem, she did a great job. But like, I feel, what was it that we watched recently that they did that she was in? There was a
The Monsters movie.
Yes,
Yeah,
that was painful.
I didn't watch it because I was like, if I'm
Which
gonna
one?
get her doing the Monsters,
The Monsters movie.
Oh yeah, I didn't either.
if I'm gonna watch Rob Zombie doing something and you're gonna take out all the gore, you're just kind of it's like going, I'm gonna go to a porno and just remove all the fucking. It's just like you're just relying. It's like you're
We'll just
taking
go
out
see
the porn-
Infinity Pool then, because there's a lot of fucking in that.
Dude, the nipple thing.
Okay,
Oh,
we'll jump to that now.
I mean, we can talk. What the fuck was that? Like her nipple
The
was
idea
like.
is that the whole time she's trying to break him. Like her ultimate goal for whatever her sadistic meaning is that she wants to break him and she wants him to be her little bitch. And once she's able to break him, she can now nurse him into whatever she wants him to be.
Put the blood on the boob first. Like, so fucked.
That
It's just more insult to injury at that point, though.
that and one of the most disturbing hand job scenes I've ever seen in cinema.
Now, what you do is you go watch this movie
With your mother-in-law.
with your mother-in-law that is almost 70.
What did she think?
We were all very uncomfortable when we left. I don't think that it was. I wasn't uncomfortable.
We just
with the
watched
movie.
a bunch of orgies for like 40 minutes together. The rest of the
Yeah.
movie and like 40 minutes of it is just orgies and drugs. So
It was. I like we left and I was like, I'm sorry. It's like I suggested this. I'm sorry. But I thought it was great, and yeah, I want to rewatch it a few times. I like Midsummer. I want to watch it a few times too because I feel like there's so much to see. But like I was just thinking about it and kind of like reading through stuff. And Josh, I think you're right. Like I think he did get swapped at the very beginning. But I really enjoyed it. I haven't been able to shut up about it for the last like week and a half.
She has talked about it in a stream a lot. Like
So
it's like
we got to a point where people were like, "Let me guess, Infinity Pool," and I was like, "I can't talk about it because I'll spoil it." But yeah, Infinity Pool.
And I forgot what, honestly, I think I had maybe an idea for the poster, but then I totally spaced. I feel like I could have did, justice. This is a cool poster, don't get me wrong, but I feel like I really wanted to do something like straight from the psychedelic scenes with like
With all of his heads, with all the different versions. Yeah.
but like
Dude.
that disco ball that kept coming up and
Yeah.
stuff too. I wanted to have that center frame because the amount of like weird stuff they did, it was always center frame, and I fucking loved that because then everything else wasn't. But the weird
Yeah.
fucked up stuff was center frame. So
oh, how about you have her weird ass titty coming out of the red wax? Just have Mia Goth titty sticking out of the red wax, and
but
just
then I
like,
can't post it anywhere.
and then have like
Yeah.
a worm coming out of it. Oh, you could post it, you just can't like.
That would be for your OnlyFans.
I mean, I would really like to know, like, because Brandon does the same thing as father. He just makes these movies and doesn't talk about them at all. Like he just goes, "Okay, I made this movie," and it's just like, so you don't have any like context and like, what was your like, I don't know, what like this is the kind of movie that I will buy and have a. I don't watch director's tracks. I would watch a director's track for this fucking batshit crazy movie because it's so.
a Cronenberg.
It's a Cronenberg, the fanciest body horror in the world. It's so fancy. Also, that motherfucker going. So you talked about like how unhinged Mia Goth is this entire film, and then this bitch, and I mean this with the utmost respect, goes back to like normal like soccer mom when they're going on the bus back, and I'm just like, you are like.
No, all she did was
It's in the game.
that's it.
But then fucking like Skarsgård goes back and just sits on the beach and like just sits in the rain. And I'm
Yeah.
like,
It's because how are you supposed to go back to normal? It's like the PTSD of like going to war, and it's like, how do
Yeah.
you go back to your normal life after that? And he couldn't make the transition. He's like, I'll just wait. I'll wait it out.
I'm
Who
just gonna
needs to
sit here
eat? I got rain.
through the rain season. Yeah, the rainy season. It's just like
I thought that was beautiful.
also
It looked
Also-
yes, it did look beautiful.
as we were talking about this, they definitely fucked with the car's headlights, right? Like they've definitely fucked
Oh,
with
yeah.
the car's
Oh, yeah.
headlights to like
It was a huge
bring him
setup.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, when Mia Goth goes off on him about the like laughing at him that he actually thought she was his fan.
Oh man, so
That
savage.
broke me on so many levels. I was like,
I mean, it was harsh, right? Like, Ken, as you and I know, and Josh knows, like people who make things and like try to do it to have someone say what she said to him. It's like
It was just soul crushing.
it's like soul crushing. Yeah. It's the most like brutal fucking talk you could ever have. Like, it is going, okay, we're gonna like find your fucking like weak spot and we're just gonna go destroy it, because it is like, yeah, you were saying, Ken, about destroying him and whatever, and it's like that right there is just like the ultimate. Yeah, you fucking, I knew exactly what to say to you
Yep.
after we figured out who you were, and just be like, oh, okay, I can get you to do whatever I want now. And it's like, so she said she was a fan, and then she gave him the come being in an American movie is also weird. I think of the things like Japanese cinema was also like, I think the opening, like, I don't think either one of you have seen Ichi the Killer, right? Ichi the Killer is one of the most whack job movies ever. The opening title of Ichi the Killer is made in cum. Like a guy jerks off, and it's like the opening title.
no.
Yes. And
That was
movie's
what they
batshit-
like did in the ABCs of Death too. Like I think it was that
Yeah.
filmmaker that did that, and I was just like, that was the one that I was like, I don't ever want to watch these types of.
It's Takashi Miike, who we didn't audition, Josh. That Ichi the Killer is the same director, who is like, he's an interesting man. Let me tell you what. Audition is like his PG movie compared to fucking Ichi the Killer, which is batshit crazy. Yeah, like
But
is-
it's not a Cronenberg.
It's not the Cronenberg where everyone's body is art and art. I've never seen a movie with a fucking seizure warning. And I told you guys last week, I think Alamo had its own seizure warning before the seizure warning. It was like 2 seizure warnings
Jesus.
about, you're like, because they wanted to make sure you knew they weren't fucking around, because if you have epilepsy issues or whatever watching this movie, you're fucked, because it is like,
Yep. It goes hard into that. But it's those weird ones, like, because he really wants you as an audience member to feel not right. And he successfully does that. Like, he starts off the movie by making you feel not okay
Yep,
with the,
that's why
the
I said,
camera.
yeah,
And then after that, like, as soon as the character starts going down the rabbit hole into fucking Wonderland, the filmmaking and the strobes and everything, it makes you feel fucked.
That's why
but
he
in a
doesn't
good
follow
way.
the rule. Like, he doesn't follow the rules. Like I've been talking about the whole time. Like, that's why he's like zooming in on mouths and like not centering things, like putting things off to the side to make you feel uneasy. Because like all that dead space makes us feel uneasy in a film like that, right? Because you're like, okay, what's over here? Or you, like it's like you almost expect something to pop out or something like that, or someone to come up or whatever like that, right? But yeah, it is like how he breaks the rules and how like I jumped right into the ending with the clone and everything, because that was the thing I had thought about for the last week. Really, was like, was this his like that the one they stole from the clinic, the version of him they stole from the clinic? Because it seemed so odd to me that they like went and they are focusing on these guys' facial wounds like so hardcore, and then they like the guy at the end has the scars all over his face or wounds all over his face, and but like
Cronenberg?
Cronenberg, yes, Cronenberg. But it's just this. You know what? It's like this might not be my favorite one of his movies because I still think I like Possessor better. But like,
Yes.
it's this movie.
I think it's going to be hard for him to top that though. Like
Possessor's great, man, and the ending of that movie is fucking. It's like darker than anything in this movie, which is saying a lot. Like you would dig that movie because it's.
I think you would too.
My favorite horror movies of all time are Alien and The Thing, right? Like Alien and The Thing. So you do good sci-fi with good like horror, sign me right up.
But that's where like it was the aesthetics that like, but also he just has this track record of having insanely good actors too. And Mandy, or the actress that plays Mandy in Mandy, is the lead in Possessor, and I think that's what really helps the film, like, because she can have a whole film on her shoulders, and it's completely in great hands.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's this movie gets carried by Skarsgård and Mia Goth. Like they both fucking kill it. Like they both do that thing where
so
like,
it's zoomed up on his Skarsgård at the end.
And his wife is fucking gorgeous, and he just is like out getting hand jobs from Mia Goth and everything like that. But like,
it's because it's a movie.
I know. I do like all the pictures of him running around with a dog collar on now. Like I don't know if you looked on IMDb.
Yep.
He's just
every time he goes to a premiere, he's a dog.
I mean, yeah. I do like how they had all the masks at the premiere. It looks like.
Yeah.
They gotta sell those masks, right? Like they have to sell those masks. Those masks are so fucking dope.
That would be a good Halloween thing, except for the Triphobia one. I would not do that.
Well, I mean, if you did the Triphobia one, you wouldn't be scaring yourself. Oh,
but I would have to see it when I don't wear it for the rest of the year. I guess it would be in a box or the garbage.
What's in the box?
Triphobia.
Also, a lot of people are requesting them to make the masks because at the premiere they did give out like the paper ones or whatever. And they're like, we just really want actual ones. And
oh, dude, if they don't start making them, someone will start selling them on like Etsy or something like
They're
that.
They're probably already up on Etsy.
Yeah.
So when does Maxine come out?
I was just looking at that. It's supposed to be this year.
Yeah. Maxine. I'm on a different level tonight.
I mean,
it's in the game.
You say that, Josh, but you're pretty much like on the same level.
No, I am not, Rod.
It's in the game. It's in the game. It's in the game.
I think I see. No.
I don't see an actual date.
Rod.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm stinky. I'm sorry, I'm stinky. I assume it's the summer, but who fucking knows? Like, yeah, there's like, we're in February now. Today's February 6th. We're recording. Like, we have Scream next month. And
I can't wait for Evil Dead. It's been one of my most anticipated movies for a long time. And now that I've put out that.
Is that April?
I think so, yeah. That cheese grater poster and just the cheese grater from the trailer, it just makes me so stoked.
I am very excited for that. I hope
I just grated cheese for dinner.
I really want to see the fucking Nicolas Cage's Dracula movie. I want to Renfield.
That looks fun. That looks more like a Netflix style watch for me. Like it reminds me of the like Jamie Foxx movie that came out, and I enjoyed that on Netflix, but I definitely wouldn't have had as good of an experience paying to see it full price in the theater. And I feel like that movie and that it kind of sucks. Like this is a conversation we should be having because comedies in that realm do not exist in theaters. So maybe we should try and make it make money so more comedies of that caliber get put into theaters because like all streaming services have almost eliminated it because there's no mid-budget movies anymore because they're either on streaming and don't do well because there's too much noise and people don't find them, or
Well,
they just
I
don't
mean,
exist.
dude, like the top end budget for most fucking like I mean, we talk about it on the time like all the Halloween remakes, the David Gordon Green trilogy was all like were like $10 million a piece or something like that, right? But then you go have like Nope got 60 million last year, and then like
Well, it's because
like,
he filmed that shit on IMAX, dude. Like that is not
Yeah.
cheap to film on IMAX at all.
Yeah.
Like so, like
Well-
half the budget went to just because it was an IMAX film.
well, but that like what I'm saying about it is though like that and Malignant were both like $60-ish million, right? The, like between 60 and 70 million, I think was what they were guesstimated at. And you're sitting there going, and for a normal Hollywood movie, that's not very big at all. That's like nothing. That's a mid-tier movie. So like a giant horror movie is the only time you start breaking more than like $10 million. And it will be interesting to see because I just saw that Matthew what's his name from Scream is in doing he's signed a 3-picture deal with Blumhouse for the Five Nights at Freddy movies. So I'm kind of interested in
Jesus.
yeah. Well, because that's all Blumhouse is doing now. They got the Exorcist trilogy coming starting this fall, and then like they're doing 3 of those. So I assume I don't think Five Nights at Freddy will come out this year. I think it will come out next year because they got the Exorcist movie coming out, like I said. But Matthew Lillard is doing whatever, and it's like they're doing these trilogies for all these properties because they know that they can. Is it Lillard or Lillard? I don't know.
Hack the
He will
planet.
He will always be fucking SLC punk though to me because, and
I love hackers, but
yeah,
Hack the Planet.
Heroin. What about Heroin Bob? Come on, man.
Yeah, but
Heroin Bob, Josh.
that movie's so just like emo
Depressing.
as fuck.
Oh yeah, that movie is emo. That is like you're like watching that movie while like listening to My Chemical Romance and like cutting your arm. Like that's like you're doing.
It's a really good movie, but it's not like it's
not a
funny
very-
because like coming up in the punk scene, I was in a punk
Yeah.
band and no one had it. I was the only one, but like and watching it on VHS and just like rewatching it over and over, I'm just like, why the fuck? Like I know this is the only movie that is like just true to being punk, whatever, and I'm just like, but it's not like fun.
No.
Like,
No, it's emo.
like,
And that
why
movie
do we
was-
keep rewatching this? It's like
That should have been SLC emo, not SLC punk, because it was all like the saddest people in the world. There's like the South goth kids from South Park. Life is only pain. Oh,
yeah.
basically what. Yep, that's what it all is. Okay. Well, I mean, I don't know what else to say about this movie. It's worth
Suck
seeing.
on a
It's
tit and see this movie at the same time. But
I mean-
maybe not your mother-in-law.
Yeah, 2 things I would
Different
suggest. Don't go with your mother-in-law, 1, and 2, do not. I just assume doing drugs and watching this movie at the same time would be
Bad idea. That
bad
would
idea.
be Horrible.
You think?
Oh.
I don't know.
think
I don't
that-
do drugs, so
I just feel like that it would be your brain might be overstimulated because this movie likes to like
it would be like
Throw-
the quote from don't eat too many edibles or else you'll get anxiety. Don't do anything and see this
Yeah.
movie or else you'll get anxiety.
don't drink too much coffee and go see this movie because you may break from anxiety because it's fucking batshit crazy. I like seeing Skarsgård do all these like he's been doing these like A24 type things like he did The Northman last year,
Yep.
which I still have not seen, which I don't know why I haven't seen yet.
The
but,
naked fight scene at the end didn't draw you in?
I didn't know there was a naked. Okay, I'm gonna go watch that right now. I mean, is Skarsgård packing? Is my next question because then I just want to know. Is he? Is
All
he
I
packing?
know is there is some fancy CG smoke that was very well placed.
in front of his pee-pee.
Well,
Oh,
not all the
man.
time, but it,
His pee-pee.
you could see all of a sudden it was just like, oh, hey, there's smoke randomly. Okay.
Well, so what was that? What were we just watching where someone came and then like had a floppy dick after? Was that this? I don't know.
It was
Midsummer.
Midsummer.
Yeah, Midsummer. Yeah, he had the floppy dick after. Like it's like because you
Yeah, but
can't
you
show
start-
an erect.
The fastest way to get rid of an erection is to run. It just, your blood starts going elsewhere, so then it would be floppy. He was running.
But he
can't
no, it was
run with a
floppy.
fucking
It was
hard
floppy, and then he started running.
Yeah, well, he looked
What
up.
are you
and
talking about?
Okay,
We watched Tour
if
Samurai,
you-
Josh.
if you
He-
look
Tour
up
Samurai.
and you see that lady that was helping push his back, you'd go floppy too, wouldn't you? I know I would.
I'm gonna do a science experiment and see if I could run how long I could run with a raging heart on. Do 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 do.
You could do it for OnlyFans.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. There you go. Okay. Ken, is there anything else you want to say about this?
You just joined the Rod Happy Hour.
There's a lot I want to say about this.
Do it. Do it.
Oh no, I mean, I thought that it was great. I thought it was really interesting. I really love the concept of swapping out people. Like, are you real? And it brings up a lot of questions that, like, I think could potentially cause a lot of anxious conversation for people, which is, are any of us kind of real? Like, probably why you probably shouldn't go into this on any type of drugs of any kind. There's a lot of really interesting, I like the way that it displays a lot of different, just how fucked up people can be, but also I love with this movie, it definitely, I am talking in circles and I apologize, but it feels like it gives people a great conversation because there are so many different ways that you can view the movie.
Yeah.
And I personally, I love the ending. I love the fact that it was like, this is, we don't know what's going on, but here are your options. Like, I think that that's fabulous.
It's a great thing for like this show, like because it's so discussable, because it's so fucking out there, like, and it's not linear, and it leaves you questions, and it leaves you like going, yeah.
I love how
there's
like that, but how we dove in was totally, if anyone in a group setting saw this together, that would be the exact thing you would start discussing instantly. It's just like, so what do you think about this? This is my theory of it, and blah. It's like, but remember this part, like if we haven't done that in a like for a movie, like I don't think yet. So this is a really fun movie to see with friends, so
Yeah,
you
yeah.
talk about it after, because it needs to be talked about.
Yeah, it's like just started talking about, just saw Knock at the Cabin. Fun time, blast, and my wife and I had things we talked about, but like it's not like there aren't as many like in-depth things you could talk about like this movie, because it's so like again, we talked about it with Possessor, Josh. Brandon does this thing where he builds
Cronenberg.
Yeah, Cronenberg. But he does this thing where he has this like world that he just puts you in, and
He's a good
like,
world builder.
yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
and he doesn't explain everything, but he kind of lets you like learn what you need to learn about it, right? And that's like he does the same thing with Possessor. I don't know. Do you know what Possessor's about, Ken?
No.
So just the concept is it's these assassins that basically they have technology to let them take over someone's mind, basically. So
It's like
they're like the perfect,
Matrix-y.
yeah. So they basically take over someone's mind, kills their target, and then kill themselves, but they don't.
Looper / Matrix.
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
But like then they go back to their own body after they kill themselves. So it's this weird like, but it's got a lot of
Okay.
things. Yeah,
But like the aesthetic of what they did, because it's in the indie world, and they chose to use like old 70s aesthetic, like wood, and make it
Mhm.
really like mid-century modern looking and minimal, and it just fucking worked. Like
Yeah.
everything that because then his dad came out and had that like over the top chair in Crimes of the fucking Making a Movie, and It was like it showed like the polar opposites of what you can accomplish. It's like I have a budget and made this ridiculous chair that is way over the top, whereas I didn't have a budget and I made something that was beautiful and it worked and it aesthetically was super pleasing on film as well. I'm like, fuck, Possessor's just mwah.
And
I have
to
it
s-
written down to watch it.
I do have to say also, every time I see a trailer for Beau is Afraid, I'm like, this is either going to be the worst movie or the best movie of all time, and I can't tell because it's Ari, and I'm like, I don't believe you with your trailers, Ari. Like, I don't believe you after Hereditary. I just don't believe you. I don't believe you.
It has
I don't
horror
believe you.
in the subgenre on IMDb, so like it's gonna be something.
Yeah, but that trailer just it looks
doesn't
like
make
it's
any sense.
an adventure comedy, but it's surreal. I don't know. Okay, so next week we're doing Skinamarink Dinky Dink, Dinky Doo.
Doo.
I love you. Okay, well next
Love
week
you in the morning and in
Skinamark,
the afternoon.
which is on Shudder if you're interested. So it's on Shudder, and so watch it.
Everyone do their homework and watch Psycho Gorman.
Yes, and
again.
watch Psycho Gorman. Okay, Ken.
I will.
Okay.
I don't.
Everybody, we are murdermoose.com, and you can go to YouTube and look us for there,
It's in
Murder
the
Moose,
game.
and subscribe. Yes, it's in the game. We have our Murder
Don't
Moose
give me
pod
buttons.
on Twitter. You gave yourself buttons. We didn't give you buttons.
It's in the-
You
it's in
gave
the-
yourself
it's in the-
buttons.
It's in the game.
Continue has continue.com and stdmotel.com and stdhotel.com and only nouns and quaintaint.com. So you could go all of those websites and visit Ken and go to her
Quaintaint
stream.
is the best one. Like that's just
It
it's
is.
too good.
We were trying to get Ain't It a Quaint Taint.com, but I don't know what happened with that.
So go follow and hang out with Ken on her stream because she's amazing and wonderful and lovely. And you know that if you're listening to this because she's awesome. Josh is joshwrb.com where all his posters are and his penis pictures. So if you want to go see Josh's penis, go to joshwrb.com.
This is true.
And follow Josh WRB on Twitter. And I'm Rod_Johnston everywhere, Twitter and no website, but I have my Twitch. I'm all over the places. Rod_Johnston.
Clowndick.com.
Clowndick.com. It leads directly to my penis. And you know why it's a clown dick? Because it is abnormally large and it wears big shoes and it will shoot you in the face with seltzer. And with that, Skinamark next week. And we will see you guys later. Thank you for being dope. You too. I love you too. I love Mondays. And I love Murder Moose. And we'll catch you guys next week with Skinamarink Dinky Doo. Bye. God damn it, Josh.
I cut off my own fart with it.